Yeast and bacteria are microorganisms commonly used in the food industry due to their exceptional fermentative capacity. This same fermentation capacity can be utilized in animal agriculture to help livestock producers deliver on their promise of producing healthy, wholesome food.
Fermentation is really important in animal agriculture because, first of all, it allows us to harvest earlier. For example, with high moisture grains, allows us to get the crop out even earlier. Second of all, it increases the quality of the crop. For example, with haelages and grasses, less field losses, less leaf loss, so we have a higher quality feed.
The Lallemand animal nutrition portfolio includes active dry yeasts, silage inoculants, bacteria for direct-fed microbials, and high-value yeast derivatives.
The yeast and bacteria that we have in Lallemand have been specifically developed and selected for specific activities.
Each yeast and bacteria strain used for a specific application in animal production is carefully selected for its desired outcome, registered, and preciously kept in a cell culture collection. Strict quality control all along the process is crucial to ensure that the end product really contains the yeast and bacterial strains indicated on the label with no contamination and in its best physiological condition.
One of the strongest assets I think that Lallemand has is the fact that they develop, manufacture, and produce the products that we sell, and we take them all the way to the end user. We have a set of quality control standards put in place basically from A to Z. And I think that can give our end customers the assurance that they will always get the same quality product consistently batch after batch.
Lallemand guarantees product quality and is dedicated to the development, production, and marketing of profitable, natural, and differentiated yeast and bacteria solutions for animal nutrition and health.
In manufacturing, because we are dealing with live organisms, whether you have yeast or you have bacteria, it is extremely important that you avoid contamination and you have all the control points in place to make sure that you have a stringent quality control process so that your products are never contaminated.
Nathan Smith, Operations Manager at Kansas Smith Farms, has found value in active dry yeast on the company's swine farm with both sows and piglets.
We've always had a history of scours and piglets in the farrowing house. They've always been pretty severe, and we've tried many different products, environmental changes, procedures. It seems like we've tried it all, and then finally I found out about yeast products, and that's when I initially found these yeast products is to help with these scours.
Probiotic active dry yeast, such as Levucell SB, can help both swine and poultry overcome gut challenges related to stressful events.
We're using the SB yeast in sows. Number one reason is just to control any sort of scours in that farrowing house. Really, for that newborn piglet, is to limit scours and control it. That's the primary reason we use it in gestation and in lactation. And in nursery, same situation. They're prone to scours, and we want to do everything possible to prevent that scours, so we don't have to come in later with mass treatment and mass antibiotics and that type of thing. Health is king, and we feel that these products really help us maintain that health.
Active dry yeast products also can reduce the negative impact of stress in cattle. Dr. Martin Dettel of Coldwater Creek Cattle Company has experienced firsthand.
At Coldwater Creek Cattle Company, we buy 300 to 500 pound calves throughout the southeastern United States. We precondition the cattle for 45 to 50 days until they're healthy, and then we phase them into a growing program, either in the feed yard on a growing ration, or we take them outside on wheat pasture or native grass.
While arrival to a backgrounding operation is a key time of stress for cattle, there are multiple stressors cattle can face in both beef and dairy operations.
Stress is definitely the biggest factor that impacts performance here. A calf can only take so much stress before the immune system is compromised and open to diseases such as bovine respiratory disease that are really the biggest detriment that we face here.
Through his research trials, Dr. Dettel has seen a positive effect from proternative and high-stress cattle.
We heard some good things about proternative, so I started doing some trial work here. We took proternative and top dress the feed on newly arrived cattle for 45 days. We compared that to a negative control where they didn't get top dress proternative.
Dr. Dettel also utilizes a silage inoculant from Lallemand to help optimize the quality of feedstuffs on his operation. Forage quality is especially important in dairy production to help minimize losses from spoilage and increase animal feed intake.
The better the quality of the forage, the more we can feed of that and less grain, so it's less purchased feed, and if it's more digestible, we can get more milk from the same pounds of feed. For the last 10 years, we've been using the Biotol. When grain prices started going up and forages got worth a lot more, it was like a no-brainer. If you're going to reclaim some dry matter loss, it was going to pay, no doubt. Gets through the fermentation quicker, so we have less unstable feed. We have gotten to the point where we don't ever have to feed fresh feed, so that helps a lot. We used to be able to tell, like when we get the pile of corn silage, we'd be at a certain height, and you could tell a month later that it had shrunk a lot. It seems like we see less of that now.
The dairy facility here is a training platform for students. We're a fully functional operating dairy farm. We are trying to make money, cover costs. We started utilizing the active yeast back around 2006. Our nutritionist felt that the Levucell product was something that we could really utilize here. That was his recommendation, so that's what we went with. Our proteins are running about 3.2%. Our butter fat's running about 3.9%. We're able to utilize our forage a lot more efficiently than we did. We were striving for higher forage diets here. With the type of corn silage that we feed, it's a natural fit.
While silage inoculants in general can help producers maximize forage quality, Dr. Hutchins recommends producers consider several factors when choosing an inoculant.
Inoculants can actually have two different roles. One we call the front-end inoculant, which means drives the fermentation when you first put the feed in to increase lactic acid production, drop the pH, and get a stable pickled feed as far as that goes. Another inoculant can also actually do the back end, which means that once we open up the silage mass, it prevents a secondary fermentation. By secondary fermentation, we mean we don't have yeast cells developing. The yeast cells can then convert the lactic acid and therefore lose the pickling effect, and that lets the molds take over. So we like an inoculant that does both, best of both worlds.
Levucell SC is a rumen-specific live yeast that can help maximize rumen efficiency because of two primary functions. It helps improve fiber digestibility and optimize rumen pH. Lallemand Animal Nutrition is here to support livestock producers in the ever-important challenge of feeding the world. The products from Lallemand help producers more efficiently produce protein to help meet this global need, while helping meet consumers' demand for nutritious and wholesome food.